Hi, this is Abby from Witchcraft and Criminal History. How you doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. Well, I'm gonna have a little bit of a chat about, some, because I'm more on the spooky side. With my abilities, and in some ways it's connection to one of the deities I serve. In my craft, I serve two deities, Bastet and Geb. And, but see, I'm not exactly too surprised that I have connection with Geb. If any of you guys know, Geb is the god of the earth. Whenever there's an earthquake, it's him having a laugh. So the thing is, don't give Geb a comedy. But anyway, when I was a teenager, there was severe, very, very bad earthquakes in Turkey. Really, really bad. A lot of people perished. It wasn't good. But the weird thing was, whenever there was an earthquake, I would have trembles in one of my arms, whether it was the left or the right. And it happened at the exact same time as an earthquake. So yeah, when I was a teenager, I could predict earthquakes. Which is kind of weird. And even my family even witnessed me having, you can say, tremors or seizures in my arm. Like I remember doing one of my assignments for schoolwork when I couldn't control my arm anymore. I couldn't control it. It was shaking like no one's business. It was like, really, really shaking. I put my other hand to steady it, but it wouldn't stop. But eventually it would stop. Then it would do it again. And it coincided with every single earthquake and after tremor what happened in Turkey. So this would have been the late 1990s, early 2000s, when I was getting these experiences. I don't like it when my hand goes a little bit on the hippie shakes. My mum always told me that it's a gift. Yeah, it's a gift. Losing control of the limb and you can't control it anymore. You completely lose control. Because that would happen to me. I lost control of my arm. It was like, yes, it's attached to me, but I can't control it. I couldn't move it on my own. Because it was, literally like having a seizure. I couldn't stop it. But some reason, I don't know why, but that ability pretty much stopped. I no longer do it, not to my knowledge. But when I was a teenager, I did it a lot. I don't know why. And then having a meeting with the god Geb and predicting another earthquake. It's kind of scary. I know my abilities are growing and they're getting stronger by the day. Like last week, I have been also experiencing dreams. And anything which is in the thing always happens like in that exact day. Like I had one dream where the main theme was money. Money. And work started flooding back in. Then a couple of nights ago, it was fraud. Fraud. Someone who I was talking to, because I'm single, so I'm talking to guys, pretty much was a fraud. he wanted me to give him $1,500, which I do not have. Even though he was saying, oh, I'll give it back to you and all that. Catfishing, pretty much. He was a fraud. And my dream predicted that. And also saying, fraud, you all took the list, so it's quite interesting. So my abilities are growing. I don't like my clairvoyant abilities, because I see things I don't want to see. Like, I don't like looking at photos of missing people, because sometimes I see what they see. I feel what they feel. I know whether they're alive or dead, and I know where they are. But I refuse to go to the police and tell them things. And it's not just bound within my country, either. Like, for example, I was watching a video about a pretty famous missing persons case over in the US, in the United States of America. A little boy disappeared from school. He went to a science fair with his stepmom and never turned up for class, even though he was at school. As far as I know, till this day, he's never been found. He was 7 at the time. 7. I know exactly what happened to that boy. I saw everything. I saw his innocence, felt his pain, his fear, his confusion, sadness, anger, even the anger of the person who was hurting him. Like, I saw him and his stepmother. I'm going to tell you exactly what I saw. So if you're not really like sad stories of bad things, then turn off the channel now. But I'll tell you what I've seen. I saw this little boy getting out from his parents' car, which I think was like a forward drive or something like that, black forward drive. But that wasn't really too predominant in it. And but I know it was a forward drive or some sort of like forward drive, big vehicle. I wasn't really paying attention to the colour of it. And they went into the science fair. They were all together. He was looking around projects, talking to friends, having a good time. And then his stepmother came up to him saying, we have to get going. We've got a very important day today, and we have to get going. You'll be back at school tomorrow. And the boy was asking, Dad never said anything like that. Why? And she said something like, it's a surprise. It's a surprise. Come with me. So the little boy went with her. The person who was talking to him was his stepmother. He sat in the back seat while his stepmother drove away. He asked, where are we going? She said, it's a surprise. It's all a surprise. And I saw the look in her eyes. I felt her emotions, her anger, her hatred. She hated that little boy. She hated her husband. The feel of hatred from this woman was terrible. And she took him to some place very rural. I saw a lot of trees, so it'd be like a forest area. So it was like a forest, which you could say protected grounds, nature reserves, something like that. So it was like that. So it was a big forest area because I saw trees. It was very, very green. I reckon it was probably raining the night beforehand because it seemed to be a bit wet. And she went down this little road, parked the car. And the boy asked, "What are we doing here? Where are we?" She ignored him. She ignored him. She went around from the driver's seat to the back seat and opened the back door. And he asked, "Mummy, what am I doing here?" And then without warning, I saw her getting her hands and started choking that little kid. And he was pleading with her like, "Mummy, why? Why, Mummy, why?" I felt his anger, the pain, everything. And she was so angry at him. I saw her squeeze the life out of her little boy. Well, not her little boy, her step little boy. And I think there was a disagreement with her and her husband. And she decided to punish him by taking it out on the child. I think that this little boy was buried somewhere in the forest. I think he's buried somewhere, and I think he's buried like probably in a shallow grave. But because this place was so rural, so isolated, I think it'll be very, very hard for someone to find this little boy. But these are the visions I get. And witnessing a child getting murdered isn't nice. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Blessed be.